My fellow compassionate capitalists, Steve here with Titan Impact Group, and behind me on the north wall we have everything that represents the north. And of course that means that on the south wall we have everything that represents the south here in the wall zim. I know, symbols. That's racist! Well, all I can say is, if you're easily offended about government conflict, if you're easily offended when it comes to political correctness, you do not want to watch the month of April. It was a pivotal time in our country. Although today is March 29th, and of course 1973, we pulled out of Vietnam. And 2 years later, consequently, North Vietnam took over South Vietnam. But today, the beginning of the end, the start of Appomattox. So today, General Grant and Robert E. Lee, General Grant with 125,000 troops, Robert E. Lee with the Confederate Army, 55,000 troops, began the battle that would be the end of the Civil War. Right up there, way up high, we've got General Grant. Over here, I gotta get on the other side of the camera now. Over here, we've got, we actually have a letter handwritten by Robert E. Lee from Charleston. We've got some other little southern knickknacks here. But we get to see a lot of these this month. So, Steve, will you get to the point? What does this have to do with anything when it comes to what's going on today? Well, I'm just prepping you because April is a crazy month when it comes to history. Presidential assassinations, end of the Civil War. And so, there's a lot of a tremendous conflict that's going on. The whole point being is that it's not much different than what's going on today, as far as there has been a war declared on the economy, war declared on finances, and some may think, well, what does that have to do? The Civil War was all about slavery. How are you making slavery compared to today's economic crisis with COVID and with the housing market? Well, I would say that yes, slavery was definitely a huge part of the Civil War, but overnight, the entire South was told that their economy would no longer exist. It was eliminated, that they could not use slaves, which again, I'm not for slavery, I'm not for any of this, I am for the preservation of history so that we can understand it, because what is history but the study of human nature? And so if we're going to predict the future, all we have to do is look at what human nature was in the past, compare that to what human nature is in the present, and there you have your future. So, to make that all come full circle, hopefully I'm not just gibbering here, COVID brain. In order to make this all happen, we've got to understand that yes, the Civil War was a war on the economy of the South. And again, if you want to get a man's attention, reach into his pocket and pull out his wallet. You will have his full and undivided attention. And what's about to happen here is that, again, governments don't control the economy, money does. Okay, and eventually governments will bow down to money. That's all there is to it. That is the history of the world. Okay, I know people who are real pro-government that don't like that statement, but too bad. Money always wins. And quite frankly, the banks and everybody are getting pretty sick and tired of these moratoriums and being told that the economy cannot continue and that there has to be special little rules and regulations in place. That's all going to go away. I promise you that. And when it does, there will be a huge tsunami of mortgages that are bad, quite frankly, that people were either told they couldn't pay their mortgage or, just stopped because maybe they didn't have a job because the economy and the government said they couldn't work. So what's going to happen is that there's going to be some bad feelings. There's going to be some rough feelings because people will be like, hey, you're trying to kick me out of my house now, you're trying to foreclose, you're trying to do all of this. And we at Titan Impact Group, we're just here to say that no, we're the peacemakers. But we also have to deal with reality. If you have a non-performing note that we buy, we get a hold of you. We ask you what's going on. What happened? Why aren't you able to pay your mortgage? And understand that we will be able to negotiate a new mortgage with you and to get you on that. And you know what? Sometimes, unfortunately, you were in a house that you had no business being in. Okay, the bank sold you a bill of goods. They qualified you for more mortgage than what you could handle. And we'll work with you, but sometimes foreclosure is imminent. And that's part of the whole process. That's part of the healing process. We're cutting out the cancer. That doesn't mean that you're cancer or that any of our investors who have come in and invested with us to buy these notes, that doesn't mean that they want you out on the streets. We don't. It just means that sometimes that's going to happen. But the vast majority of the time, fortunately, we are able to, we're not greedy capitalists, we're compassionate capitalists, and we are able to renegotiate that mortgage and be able to get you back on track. We do that for 12 to 36 months. And then we put your performing note, your performing mortgage, your good mortgage back on the market and sell it there. Thus, it keeps the flow of money going into the economy. More than likely, you're able to keep your home. Investors are able to make a profit in which they can then repeat this process for other people who may be hurt, who may be hurting as well. So, with that, I hope that everybody, both investors and people who may see this, who may have some issues with their mortgage, understand this, everything that's coming on. I hope you understand how history is basically repeating itself in certain ways. And just to know that, hey, we're here. We're the good guys, and we're coming. Because I am Steve Wall. I do know money. And I am a sentinel of the American dream.